Greetings, Bat Family, and welcome back to Holy BatCast, brought to you by Real Fans for Real Movies. We are part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. You can check out all those shows at rf4rm.com. You can also find Holy BatCast all over the internet, holybatcast.com, or anywhere on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast. You will find us. We're also on Patreon. If you love the show, you want to support us, you can do that through Patreon. You go to patreon.com/holybatcast. And as always, a big old thank you to our patrons. You guys are amazing. We really appreciate you. And you make life just that much sweeter. So thank you for that. What else? I'm your Bat host, Andy DiGenova, as always. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. This is going to be a mini episode, if you will. We're just going to give our real-time, spoiler-free reactions to Shazam, Fury of the Gods. And joining me for that is you heard her not that long ago. You asked for more, and we aim to please.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you're very popular.
Apparently.
The listeners love you.
Well, that's nice.
I mean, they have good taste.
Well, thanks, honey.
I mean, they have good taste because they already listen to the show, but
Yes.
they have good taste because they're like, wow.
Great taste.
And Andy married a really cool girl. And I'm like, that's true, I did.
Well,
So anyway,
that's good.
it's my wife and co-host for today, Kathrynn DiGenova.
That's me.
That's you. Welcome back.
Thanks. Good to be back.
How you been?
About as good as I am all the time.
That's good. Good. I haven't seen you in ages. Except for when we just ate lunch.
Yeah, it's true.
But it's good to be back.
Yep.
Before we get to Shazam, got to give a shout out to Manscaped.
Heck yeah.
Our pals over at Manscaped, manscaped.com. They've got everything that you need for your male grooming routine. I use it every day.
You sure do.
And my wife is here to confirm that I'm not lying to you.
Yeah, you're very hygienic.
Thank you. Thank God.
You smell great.
Oh, phew. And you like the Manscaped cologne. I think we
do.
talked about that. Yeah.
Was it the deodorant the other day?
Yeah.
And I said that I want to live in your armpit?
Yes, which is very flattering and a little weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
But thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It's a testament to Manscaped.
Oh, good. That's good. They have lots of good stuff.
Yep.
They have their whole new line of beard products, which I have not sampled, if I'm being honest, because I don't really have a beard.
Beardish.
I have a little facial hair.
Yeah.
But they also have their weed whacker, which is not the same as the lawnmower. The lawnmower is like the main trimmer.
Okay.
That I do use all the time, and it's great.
Okay.
The weed whacker is the nose and ear hair trimmer.
Oh, you don't really have those things.
Then I'm doing my job because I do use it.
Oh, great.
So, shoo! It's not one of those things where you look at your husband's nose and you're like, dude.
No.
Dude, there's
I
a
never
whole
look
jungle
at you
up in there.
And no, I never look
Thank
at
God.
you.
Or
and
my
wonder.
ears.
No.
Phew, I'm not there yet.
No.
Give it another 20 years, honey.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That's what happens.
That's what we're heading
I just
for.
stop giving a shit, and they just go crazy. But if I have the weed whacker, maybe I'll keep up.
The battery
on it.
will still be alive in
It
20
will.
years.
I hate that I'm at the age where I even have to care about ear hair.
Yeah, that's strange.
Ew, getting old sucks.
It does.
But
we were just talking about that today.
We were just talking about it because it's true. But the weed whacker's great. And the point is I do use it.
You do?
I use it anytime I find like a long hair in my nose or my ear. I got to use it. So if that's something you guys don't have, check it out. Check out the lawnmower. Again, if you are in the market for a trimmer, it's the best one on the market. There's a really cool purple one coming in April.
I'm so excited.
I'm really excited.
I'm excited for you.
I know it's silly. It's just a trimmer, but like if a trimmer can glow purple,
yeah,
might as well.
I mean, they're always black, you know?
Yeah,
that's like,
right?
Men's products are always black, which is fine, but like women's
Give me a
products are
little
always
style.
like bright pink.
Yeah.
Let's
Give me
break
a little
it out.
pizzazz. Give me some color.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, they have all kinds of good stuff. Like we said, the deodorant, the body wash, the shampoo, the cologne, all of the above.
Yep.
Chapstick. The chapstick is good too.
Yep.
So go to manscaped.com, check all that stuff out, and I bet your spouse will be just as happy as mine.
Your spouse will want to live in your armpit too.
Wow, that's a selling point.
Yep.
Yep. Make your spouse or loved ones want to live in your armpit. Manscaped.com. I'm sorry, Manscaped, if you're listening to this. I don't know if that's what you want out there, but they tend to be easygoing. Anyway, go to manscaped.com. Use that promo code BATSCAPED for 20% off and free shipping. Again, that's BATSCAPED. 20% off, free shipping. You save money, you get quality products, and you're supporting Holy BatCast while you do it. So thank you to everybody who's already done that. It means a lot to us. And if you are still on the fence, just go do a little browsing. Yeah, just take a couple minutes. Go to manscaped.com. See if anything strikes your fancy. But use that promo code BATSCAPED, and we would appreciate it. Want to talk about Shazam?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to give our brief-ish,
Yeah.
spoiler-free reactions
Yeah.
to Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
You're going to have to kick me if I start going to spoiler zone because I'm not sure.
You're not used to it.
I'm not used to it because we
I
leave
know.
movies and we like break it down.
We just talk about it.
Yeah.
Yes. So we went and saw Shazam last night.
Yes, thanks for waiting for me.
You're welcome. Brendan wouldn't have made me wait.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, you know that? So
Well.
you see my little tally marks over here.
Yeah, I see them.
Brendan's up by 1, so I don't know what you got. Better show me your boobs later.
Okay. Twist my arm, why don't ya?
Anyway, I did wait for you. We
Yes.
went last night.
Yes,
we
we
went
did.
late last night. We got
Very
a
late.
babysitter and everything.
I know. Our babysitter did nothing because we had already put our baby to bed.
Yes. Harley was already asleep by the time the babysitter got here, so it was a good gig.
It was a good gig for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't have to do much.
But we went late on a Wednesday night, and we saw Shazam! Fury of the Gods, and now I'll let you go first. Spoiler-free reaction to the film.
So, I want to start, I think, by saying I really love the first Shazam film. It is one of probably my go-to superhero in general films whenever I want to just like watch that genre, which is often.
And this is why we're married.
Yes, true. And I wanted to love this movie even more than I love that movie, and that I recognize that makes my expectations not quite as in check as they probably should be. But it's not that I didn't like it. I liked it a lot, but I wanted to love it, and I don't love it, and so, and maybe it's me internalizing this. It's like, I want to know why I don't love it, but it's not that I don't like it. You know, it's still a good movie.
Yeah.
It had amazing elements. Cast great. Story's good. Villain's awesome. Like, Shazam, fabulous. Shazam-ily, great. Like, I have no individual complaints, but there's something about it that's just not quite to the same level of heart that the first one has that I love so much about it.
Yeah.
That was spoiler-free.
Yeah, it was.
I did it.
It was. You did it. Congrats.
Thanks.
We saw the same movie.
Yeah.
So we walked out, and I feel very much the same.
Yeah.
I liked it. I had a good time. I was entertained.
Mm-hmm.
To your point, there are so many of the right ingredients. You know, it's the entire team from the first film back, with the exception of the composer. I will say maybe this is...
That is part of it.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I was actually thinking that in the movie. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like, you know how like...
I'm used to it.
I know. But, like the Wonder Woman has that iconic musical piece.
Yes.
Every time she shows up.
Yes.
You have those in, not just the DCU, but like so many other franchises too. There wasn't that in this. And that there were points where I was like, this feels like I want to feel something musically that I did not feel. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but it's funny because I was thinking about that and I don't think I actually talked to you about that thought.
Well, so the first film, the composer was Benjamin Wallfisch. This one was Christoph Beck. They're both very good composers in their own right, but here's my hot take.
Yeah.
I like the score better in this one.
Really?
Yep, I like the score better. And it stuck in my head as we were walking out of the theater, whereas the first one, I couldn't tell you. The first one, I like, but it always felt like a Superman theme, but it can't be the Superman theme.
Right.
And this one had a more distinctive theme that I enjoyed more. So I actually thought the composer... I would actually call a slight improvement.
Okay.
Even though I had no issues with the music in the first one, I actually enjoyed the music in this one. Because I think he committed harder to a Shazam theme than the first movie did.
Okay.
And I'm very big into a recognizable theme for a superhero.
Yeah, I know you are. That's the thing.
And so this one I felt like the theme was a little cleaner In the first one, again, it felt like Superman, but with too many notes and like a little off-brand. Whereas this one, I feel like he found a cleaner version of it, which I liked. But that's the only person I think who worked on the second one that didn't work on the first one. It's the same director, same cast, same overall team.
Yeah.
So going in, like you, I had very high expectations because of how good the first movie is.
Yeah.
And with everybody coming back, and usually, or not usually, but many times after a successful sequel, everybody comes back energized because they're just so excited about what they pulled off the first time. And this time they're like, and now we're going to even top it.
Right.
And in some ways, they do top it.
Right.
They top it in scope.
Yeah.
They top it in scale. They top it in action. But they don't top it in the things that really matter, like the story and the heart.
Yeah.
And therein lies the problem.
Right.
I had a great time. It's a very fun and easy to watch superhero movie.
Yeah.
It's, ironically, there's a lot of drama going on right now about Black Adam and Shazam and everything. But the irony is, it has the same issues as Black Adam in that it's a really fun comic book superhero movie.
Yeah.
It's like watching a comic book on the big screen.
Yeah.
But it's lacking in a unique story and a little deeper character work.
Yeah. It's, yes, 100% yes.
So it's a good time. I think that it looks better.
Yeah.
Again, and this is something that Brendan said on the last episode, is the budget was allegedly $100 million.
Well, it looks great for
It looks
$100 million.
amazing.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
If you can get that much superhero movie from $100 million, again, I look at the ones that spend $200 or $300 and I go, what are you buying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this was not lacking.
No, it was on par with a movie of that budget as far as what was in it. The issues are not from, like we said, it's not the parts and pieces. It's like there's very small things that made a big difference.
Yes.
And yeah, there's something to say and I completely forgot what it was.
That's okay. So as far as that goes, what's ironic is it's essentially the same budget. The first movie cost $100 million too, but this one does feel bigger.
Yes.
And I don't see any corners cut really. The effects look great, the powers look great, the creatures look great. All of that was really terrific.
Amazing.
The creatures were amazing.
Oh my god.
So there's tons of eye candy and entertainment to be had.
Yeah.
But the first movie knew when to take the time for the quieter character moments.
Yeah.
With Billy, with he was going through, and with his reluctance to bond with his family.
Yeah.
And that emotional through line, and then especially culminating in the confrontation with his mother, all of that emotional stuff is so effective in the first movie.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of it in this one, but
yeah.
It never goes very deep, and some of it I think is half baked.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a completely fair assessment. I wanted so much more out of some of the relationships, and it's not that the movie expects you to know anything. Like, I don't think that there's, like, sometimes when those relationships aren't well enough developed, they expect, in a sequel, they expect you to, like, have gleaned so much from the first one and, like, built this own connection in your head and, like, do all the work for them. But it's not like this did that. It's something else. It's like the story doesn't service those relationships enough.
Yes.
That the payoffs are not as impactful.
Yeah, they don't resonate the way the movie wants them to.
Yep.
And I think, and there are some, there are emotional through lines. I think Freddy's is done very well.
Yeah.
I think that Billy has two. He has one, essentially his Shazam arc.
Yes.
Which
is set up in the very beginning of the film.
About having imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And like, dude, I really deserve this.
Right.
Which I think is a great angle, and
Absolutely.
I think it's a really good story for him. Within the movie, I think it's done okay.
Yeah.
But not great.
Right.
And then he has a secondary arc as Billy with his adopted mother that is completely half-baked.
Yeah.
And that one frustrated me so much because it was a great idea.
Right.
Especially coming from, we know the conflicted feelings he has with his mother from the first film.
Right.
That is fertile ground to dive into, and they just don't take the time to do it.
No.
So when when it happens in the movie, you're just kind of like, oh, I mean, that should work more than it does.
Yeah, like it paid off the setup, but not really along the way. So yeah, it didn't build. It built to where you thought it was going to go, but with no meat in between the bread.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So for all the spectacle, which I think is done very well, I just, ironically, and as a big comic book geek, I actually wish they would have paused more often during the super heroics to have those quieter character moments, because I think it would have served the movie better.
Yeah. I think that the character aspect being said, the performances in the film are great.
Absolutely.
Like, I do think that, I'm going to butcher his name, Freddie Freeman? Yeah, Freddie Freeman.
Jack Dylan Grazer. Who's amazing.
Yeah,
he's great.
He's been amazing since he, burst out in It, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had a phenomenal performance through the entire thing. Mm-hmm. And I think Adam Brody carried his Shazam persona through very well also. Which that's the other thing is, I think that the Shazamily in their superhero form carried through the characteristics of the children well, again, the second time, without making it feel cartoonish or, playing too hard into the kids as adults thing. I think they did that very well.
I totally agree. It is interesting that you bring that up, though, because the adult actors of the Shazamily get so much more to do in this one.
Yeah.
And sometimes for the better, because those are all very good actors, and it's nice to see more of them.
Oh, for sure.
But I think at the detriment of the kids, who we don't see as much in this one.
Yeah.
With the exception of, I think, Freddie. Freddie is the one who gets the most. And again, to your point, Jack Dylan Grazer is great.
Yes.
And so I think that's part of what makes his story work so well in the movie, because he's so good. And then, Adam Brody does a really good job matching up with him.
Yes.
But I think you're right. The cast overall is great.
Yeah.
And really charming and likable. Mm-hmm. And I think that goes a long way.
It does.
Because even for stuff that's not on the page, they bring so much personality and so much charm to their performances. You like them anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
you like spending time with them.
Yeah. I think we were saying last night, it has to be an intimidating and impossible task for Rachel Zegler to feel like she has to measure up to some of the great performances that are in this film, some of the more established. She's a lot of scenes with Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu and others that are so much more established.
Yeah.
That she completely just fits right in.
Yeah.
She can match everybody's energy, and I think that for somebody that's relatively, West Side Story, that's pretty much all she's been in.
Yeah.
That anybody would know her from. She had the most work to do from a performance, and she nailed it. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, and then to your point, the villains are great.
The villains are fabulous.
And they're invented.
Yep.
But they're so fun. Helen Mirren, Lucy Liu, and kind of Rachel Zegler.
Kind of.
They're all really great, and I give them a lot of credit for creating these villains and having these really great actors do it, and I appreciated their dynamic a lot, too.
Yeah.
I've always been a Lucy Liu fan. It's nice to see her. I feel like I haven't seen her in a minute, and it's nice to see her back.
She doesn't look like she's aged at all
either. And Helen Mirren is always good.
Helen Mirren's incredible.
And I gotta say, I love that, and it's, and there's some of it in the trailer, so I don't think it's spoilery, but I love that, you have these grown women fighting Shazam.
Fighting Shazam.
And so, you would think it would be a weird thing where it's oh, you can't have them fight because Helen Mirren's an old lady, and you can't have Shazam fight Helen Mirren. It's no, they do.
They do.
And it's so fun. It's I think those are some of my favorite parts, is I like that they don't hold back on that.
No, not at all.
But yeah, I mean, to our point earlier, the creatures are amazing. You only got glimpses of them in the trailer, so I appreciated that they held back a little bit on those, but they don't disappoint.
No. I want to look into it more, and maybe somebody will email you about this, but I'm pretty sure there were some scenes that were practical effects that were enhanced with special effects later, and I think that was, I love to see that.
Yeah.
And the moments where I'm pretty sure that's what I saw are benefit from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to look into that.
I mean, I loved them all, and I thought it was such a fun approach to... you had the 7 deadly sins in the first one, so here you essentially have this a gaggle of Greek mythological monsters.
Yeah.
And they don't disappoint. They're really great. So again, I mean, that's definitely where I stand, is the eye candy and the entertainment is there.
Yeah.
But what it felt like a script that was not fully finished, which is ironic because it's been 4 years, but a lot of that is COVID delays and all that stuff. So I do have to wonder, like, is this something that they wrote quickly because they wanted the sequel out fast because the kids were getting older?
Yeah.
And then history had other plans, and then it just got delayed.
Yeah, there is a line somewhere in the film that seems to indicate only 2 years of time have passed, even though it's been 4, right? So I think that it was so late in the movie that it didn't bother me, but that I had heard that. But when I heard that, I was like, oh, huh. They seem to have gotten so much older for only 2 years to have passed by. And it didn't, I mean, there are other movies where that has bothered me way more, but that did not bother me.
It didn't bother me either, but again,
you're right,
I'm just speaking to, like, the parts of the story I thought didn't work as well.
Yeah.
Is all stuff that could have been polished if they had had more time to write. And I don't know how long they took to write it. I'd have to do some research. But again, this is me just guessing. Did they get the script out quickly because they wanted to get a sequel out in 2 years? And then again, COVID happened and everything went to shit. Or maybe I don't know, maybe they didn't. Maybe they thought it was going to be... I can't remember what the original release date... The original, because it's had so many.
Yeah.
So I don't even remember when it was originally supposed to come out. But it's just... I wonder if they did not take as much time during the writing because they wanted to get to production quicker.
Or if there's a lot on the cutting room floor that would have enhanced those. And then they were sacrificed for the action aspect.
Could have been.
Which is... Because the action sequences feel fully realized.
Yeah. And
they don't feel
really
like anything is missing. And they're fantastic.
And they're really good. And that's just it. Like, for like comic book porn, it's good.
Yeah.
And the issues I have with it, none of it has to do with the direction. I love David Sandberg. Yeah. I think he's a talent. There's been some sad tweets that he sent out this week when the movie underperformed. And it's such a shame because he's so good. Mm-hmm. He did Lights Out, which I freaking love.
Yeah.
He did Annabelle Creation, which I freaking love.
That's a good one.
And then he did Shazam, which I freaking love. Yeah. And then this one, I don't quite freaking love it, but I like it.
Yeah.
But none of, I think, the shortcomings come from his direction. It's from the script.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, God, I just wish they could have massaged that script more. Or maybe you're right. Maybe
it's editing.
Maybe the character stuff got cut in favor of the spectacle. And I think that the movie suffers for it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't say that it's editing in terms of how the movie is edited. The movie is edited well.
Oh, no. Yeah. But I get what you're saying.
If there is, if there is scenes that are missing that would have made a big difference, then I would love to know when the film reaches, whatever, streaming or iTunes, we can see extras or whatever.
Because
how does it even work anymore? You pre-ordered the movie, right?
I already pre-ordered it.
So I guess we'll see.
But I pre-ordered the Steelbook because
because our daughter needs more toys to rip off the wall.
Yeah, because Harley needs something to throw off the wall. And it was real pretty. And honestly, and because of its underperformance, I was like, I'm supporting it.
You should.
I'm spending money on a Steelbook.
I know.
But I do wonder, it's a great point, is I do wonder if some of that character stuff got cut because the parents. I love the foster parents.
Oh, they're fantastic.
They're so lovable. I want to give them both a big old hug. Mm-hmm. But they're barely in it.
Well, and there were lines throughout that, especially with Mary, that seemed to indicate there was another subplot that had to do with the parents. Yeah. And none of that is in the film. So it's like, I don't know if it's either it was edited in the scripting and never shot and never really then that through line was not quite as strong like we've been saying, or it was shot, it was edited out, and they just didn't make enough of a difference in the final edit of the film. So let's find out when we get it.
Yeah. Or I'll tweet David Sandberg later and go, hey, just curious.
See what happens.
Yeah. Did you cut a lot? I'm so curious because that could explain a lot.
Yeah.
Because as we said earlier, all the pieces are there.
Right.
But they didn't quite all go together the way I think they should have.
Yeah. I do think I don't think I will revisit this sequel on its own too often in the future. Mm-hmm. But if we watch the first one, I probably will want to watch the second one within a few days afterwards, which is still, I think it's still an indication that I liked the movie. Yeah. Because there's plenty of films I'll watch the first one and never touch the sequel. Yeah. But, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. Well, I could see myself popping this in.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't demand much.
No, it's true.
It's kind of a perfect lazy Saturday afternoon, pop in a superhero movie and just enjoy the fun of it.
Yeah.
because it's not something you've got to commit a huge amount of time
That's
or
true.
a lot of, but because it's there as far as just entertainment goes. But yeah, like I get that. So yeah,
Cool.
Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
Shazam, Fury of the Gods. I mean, I know we're talking non-spoilers. There are post-credit scenes, obviously.
Yes,
there are in every single film, and
what's crazy is we are talking non-spoilers, and which is good.
Yeah.
But God, so much got spoiled about this movie.
I didn't get spoiled on some of the things, which is
I'm
amazing.
so glad because yes, too much got spoiled. Some of it intentionally, and some of it unintentionally. Some of it was just fans being a-holes.
Yeah.
Spoiling stuff. But even so, like, stuff's out there, but you never know what people know or they don't know.
Yeah.
But I will say that, like, what I'm seeing is, which is a real shame, is that, and I think I said this on the last episode, is if a movie, quote unquote, flops, it seems like that just gives a huge chunk of people permission to just shit on it. And that is what I'm seeing happening now.
Yeah.
Because this movie opened at $30 million, which is low. The first one opened at 53. Because of that, everyone's like, oh, it must be crap. Or they're like, oh, good, let's kick the shit out of it. And so there's this piling on that happens.
Yeah.
And that is what's happening with this movie. And this movie does not deserve that.
We have talked about this a lot lately. And I mean, not lately. I think since Spirited came out, of like, negativity makes people feel powerful and it's like a high. And so if there's something to jump on and be negative, then people will do that. And that is what's happening here. Because what's the fun in saying it's great if everybody isn't also saying that it's great, which there's not enough people. I've seen a lot of people saying that it's great, but in the greater sphere, that's not what the general population is saying.
And I appreciate that, like, David Sandberg, Zachary Levi, Rachel Zegler, all of them have come out to say, you know what, it's a bummer that people are hating on our movie, but we still think it's a great movie, so you should still go see it.
And they should be proud of it. They should all be proud of it. It is a good movie. Yeah. I don't want it to be misconstrued. It is not a perfect movie. No. And it is not a great movie. No. But it is a good movie.
No. It is a good, solid, middle-of-the-road superhero movie. Yes. But, and this was something that Zachary Levi said recently, he's like, it's a great family superhero film. Yep. And I think that's very true. I think this is something that is accessible to all ages, which I think is good and has become rarer. But that became very clear because of the trailers they showed beforehand. Like, most of the trailers were all animated movies. I was like, oh man, like they really thought people were bringing kids to this because it was.
I don't think they marketed it well enough for that though. Like I think they just marketed it the same way they do with most of the superhero movies, and I think they could have played up that family aspect.
I think so too, but I also think that they didn't commit all in on the marketing.
That's fair.
So again, I also feel like part of this is that it became a sacrificial lamb where it cost only $100 million. So it doesn't need to go crazy for it to turn a profit or to even break even. Yeah. But I think that even backfired because I think that they thought it would even do a little bit better than this, even with the minimal marketing. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately now, who knows if it probably won't even break even, which is a shame. It doesn't deserve that. Especially because I would have loved to at least gotten the trilogy. Yeah.
Has there been any indication that that's not going to happen? Since it's not performing well.
Based on the box office, it's very unlikely. And then that was something that David Sandberg even said was like, he's like, I'm done with superheroes for a while. I'm going to go back to horror and try out some new things. All right. And one thing he said that was heartbreaking, but so freaking spot on, where he said, one thing I'm looking forward to is taking a break from the superhero online discourse because it's stressful and what does he say? It stresses me out and something else. I can't remember. But God, same. You know that.
Yeah, I know. It's exhausting. And it's difficult to be a part of that conversation.
Yeah.
And this is stay a part of that conversation.
This is supposed to be fun.
Yep. I wonder how long James Gunn will be able to hang in that sphere.
He's used to it.
Well, sure, but and
what I love about Gunn,
he's on the chopping block now, though.
That's true. Like he's got to put his money where his mouth is, and he better deliver. But as far as like the online swirl, where there are people who love him, there are people who hate him, there are people, all of that. Yeah, he went in eyes wide open.
Yeah.
And I respect him. He has been facing it head on.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's up to him now.
Yeah.
But I will say that, like, I would have loved to have gotten a third, especially with this team, with this cast, with David Sandberg.
Yeah.
You know, yes, there's a little bit of a tease for what a third movie could have been.
Yeah. Or Future of Shazam, I guess. Too,
yeah.
is another.
But unfortunately, that's probably not in the cards. Mm-hmm. But at least, like, this Shazam double feature would be is a really damn good Shazam double feature.
Yes.
And I still am pretty happy to have that.
Yeah. So everybody should back the heck off and go see it, because it is good.
It's good. It's fun.
It's good. It's fun.
Yeah.
I hope.
And I know, I should say this. I know it sounds like faint praise to go, it's fun. I know that.
I know.
And in this case, it's not faint praise, but also I'm just being real.
Yeah.
Like, I'm also not going to tell you, guys, this one's a masterpiece. You're missing out. I'm not going to say that, because that's not true either.
No.
It's a fun, good time. It's easy to watch. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep. I
sorry,
had another
I'm sorry.
thought.
Did I distract you?
No, well, you're so cute. I'm always distracted by
God,
you, but you're sitting right across from me, so even more.
Show me your boobs.
Okay. I forgot what I was gonna say. It couldn't have been. Now I'm even more distracted. It couldn't have been that important, honestly. Yeah. Oh, Zachary Levi.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of my boobs, Zachary Levi. I don't know what this was like when the film came out, or how much information. You can correct me if I'm incorrect, because I have a good friend of mine knows him well. I met him a couple times. He's lovely, wonderful guy.
Yeah.
He was so excited.
Yeah.
About being a superhero. He was so excited to play this character. His, like, commitment level was so off the charts. He's part of this kind of, like, nerdy, geeky fandom community. I mean, like, he ran Nerd HQ at Comic-Con for a couple years and was there the whole time. Played Xbox with my brother. Like,
nice.
Yeah, he was, you know, he is part of this sphere, this sector of the world, this, you know, this kind of community, and is so passionate about that. I hope this isn't the last time we see Shazam and him as Shazam. Yeah. And I hope this isn't the end of his superhero road, because I think he's a talented actor. He brings, I mean, the movie had its issues with heart, but he brings so much heart and genuine performance to these roles. It is the inspiring aspect of a superhero that you want to see. Mm-hmm. And so I hope for him that this is not the end. Yeah,
I agree. You can tell how thrilled he was to be Shazam.
Yeah.
You can tell with the first film, and you can tell with this film.
Yeah.
And there is this, like, air of heartbreak now that the movie's not doing so well, coming from him and Sandberg.
Yeah.
And it does suck.
Yeah.
What really sucks is, you know, a lot of fans have turned on him, which I think is unfair.
Yeah.
Because
it's not his fault.
Well, because if you, like, they're saying that, like, his performance in the movie was too exaggerated or something like that. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that at all.
I think that there are certain people who wanted to see the movie fail, who don't like him for a couple of reasons, because he's kind of, you know, like, he has said some things, and again, I don't think he said anything wrong, but he basically has said, oh, certain groups of fandom just want to attack and blah, 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 and they're like, oh, how dare you, and so there's all this, like, weird, again, stupid superhero online swirl,
but
and they're looking for excuses to shit on the guy,
right?
And so they're saying his performance is bad, which I disagree with,
right?
And I just think that, like, that's so uncalled for, and again, because he's good in both movies. Mm-hmm. To your point, by all accounts, he's a great guy in real life.
He's super cool.
And, like, you know, and people are putting words in his mouth, or he'll say one thing and they'll say, oh, but what he means is this, and it's like, no, like.
It's the toxicity that fandom comes with.
It's its own thing, and I'm sorry to even go down that road, but because you brought him up, I'm like, I guess what I wanted to say is, I think he is good in the movie. And I think that the criticism he is getting has nothing to do with how he was in the movie. It has to do with certain fans wanting to find fault with him.
Yeah.
Because they have their own agendas.
Yeah. He does a lot of charity work, so if you're shitting on him, that's on you. And that's how I feel about that.
Yeah. So anyway, I agree with you. I would love to see him again.
Yeah.
I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah.
Because and I also think that, I mean, I'm sure I'll talk about this with Jamie and Brendan too, but like,
fine.
I mean, we'll get into it. But my point is this is there all week.
Yeah.
Every movie nerd has been dissecting what went wrong with Shazam. And there's 100 reasons. But none of those reasons is that it's a bad movie.
Right.
So that is the first thing I want to say. And the other thing is, I do think, and I mentioned this on the last episode, is I do think it really is a cautionary tale about, because now it's public knowledge and it's been in the news cycle that a reboot is coming.
Right.
It's twice as hard to get a lot of people to go see these.
Yeah.
And so that concerns me. Like, and I hope that, is not the case, but that is now what they're looking down the barrel of, because, and James Gunn tried to soften it by going, oh, there's no reason Shazam couldn't continue in our universe. But again, everybody kind of looked at that with one eye, being like, maybe.
I guess we'll have to wait till the Flash to see.
So, So that, I think, is a huge shame too.
Yeah.
Because again, I was even having a private conversation with some other friends.
Yeah.
And none of them had gone. And they were nerdy friends. And one of them was literally like, well, yeah, like, they're doing a reboot. So, I'm like, and these are people who
what
should probably go.
You
right?
should go, whoever you are.
But yeah, I'm not calling them out. But like,
I'm not.
But like,
by name, but
if they're, but it's a very real reaction, whether I agree with it or not.
Yeah.
And so that again also is a huge shame.
I think that's, you're waiting for something to satisfy your personal desires and need for the DC EU or whatever we're calling it now, like, to satisfy your personal wants and needs out of that. It's never going to reach those expectations if you have some idea in your head and you're writing everything off because of it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Does that make sense?
I think I know what you're getting at. Yes, like I guess, and I did not mean to go in this direction, but I couldn't help it. I guess because it's part of the conversation with the movie, right?
Yeah.
And like, I want to be realistic about what's actually happening,
right?
While also going, like I think that it's a shame that this movie is sort of a casualty of circumstance, from the delays itself, from, the limited marketing, from the reboot coming. There's 100 reasons why it didn't set the box office on fire.
Right.
But it's just frustrating because the movie doesn't deserve that. Yeah. And because that's the case, again, I just think it's unfair that people are using it as an excuse to pile on Zachary Levi or to pile on the movie. And that, I guess that's what I was going to say is and what I really don't understand is the fans who are celebrating. And because I can't comprehend that of like DC fans rooting against DC movies.
Why?
But
what's the point of that? That's such a waste of energy.
Yeah.
And time and like, ugh.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. So anyway, Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
A quick mini episode of us diving into the toxicities of fandom.
Well, yeah, a little bit. But again, I guess the bigger point is, it's a good even if a movie fails doesn't mean it's a bad movie.
Correct.
And history has shown us that over and over and over again. But when a movie does fail, especially in the moment, it gets really cool to jump in and be part of the pile-on. Yeah. And that's what's going on right now.
I think we have seen... So you've talked about this. It has to be worth us having a babysitter to go see a movie.
That's true.
And we have seen a couple movies in the last year that we had a babysitter for that were super disappointing. And if you want to hear about that, I think it's on your last Real Fans episode. But your recap episodes of last year's movies.
Oh, yeah.
But
Halloween Ends?
Yes, Halloween Ends. I don't.
I want my money back from the babysitter.
You can check my letterbox for other movies I feel that way about, I guess.
Like any that you might have seen, like 1 week after giving birth?
Yeah, maybe. I don't want anyone to come for me right now. It was worth the babysitter. Would have done it again.
Yeah.
I'm glad we went to see it. I'm glad you waited for me because it would have been a bummer if I had to wait. I'm glad we saw it on the big screen. I'm glad that we saw it in the Dolby because the seats were shaking the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, it was completely worth the late night, everything we had to do in order to see it.
Good.
No regrets.
All right, good. And, driving home half asleep.
Oh my God. How we feel today.
Yeah, and today still being half asleep, but you're right. Yeah. Like it is a commitment now that we have Harley.
Yeah.
And we paid for a babysitter last night, and I don't regret it.
Nope.
It was a good time. A good time at the movies.
Good time was had by all.
Awesome.
Cool.
Great. Can't wait to do it again with that weird Kraken movie.
Oh, God. What the hell was that? Yes.
Anyway.
No desire to see that.
I literally was like, wait, this is DreamWorks?
Yeah.
It did not look like DreamWorks. It looked like...
gross.
Anyway, sorry. That's its own tangent.
It's like, those little slap bracelets that are made of jelly that smack the windows?
Yeah.
All the animation just, looked like that to me. Yeah. If you've seen the trailer, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah. I was like, oh, is this like a Netflix animated movie?
Yeah,
it's like, no, from DreamWorks Animation. I was like, oh, wow, really? All right. Well, thanks for taking the time.
You're welcome.
Thanks for being my movie date.
No, anytime.
Thanks for sharing popcorn with me.
Anytime.
And thanks for sharing your thoughts.
You're welcome. And later, I'll share my boobs with you.
Great. All right, goodbye, everybody. Well, tell everybody at home where they can find you.
Well, you can find me on Letterboxd. I think if you look Kathrynn DeGenova, you can probably find me, but it's at LowPanFan. And I'm probably on Instagram, both at Kathryn Cobbs and at Kathrynn DeGenova. Although that one's private. So,
yeah. Cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks. Good to have you back so soon.
I know.
The listeners will be thrilled. They'll be so happy.
You know where to find me.
I do.
It was a real stretch.
Go down the hall.
Yeah.
It's nice to have like a spare who's literally just in the other room.
Oh, a spare.
Well, I mean,
what am I, Prince Harry?
Oh. We want our privacy.
This is such a weird glimpse into our marriage.
All right. Well, thank you, and thanks for everybody out there listening. Thanks for joining for this little. It's a medium episode.
Yeah.
A medium one.
You consider another hour into emails,
tiny.
but no thanks.
Well, that's a great point, though. For anybody, if you guys have seen Shazam! Fury of the Gods, or you have questions or anything that you want to send, we will do the Wayne Manor mailbox next time. You can send those to Holy BatCast at rf4rm.com. And next time, yes, the plan is for me, Brendan, and Jamie. Get all three of us back together, get the Trinity back together, and to do the full-on, in-depth review of Shazam! Fury of the Gods. So stay tuned for that, but hopefully this will tide you over until then. Mm-hmm. So anyway, thanks for joining us. Please do follow or subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. And if you love the show, something else you can do is rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We would appreciate that. Again, the Wayne Manor mailbox, Holy BatCast at rf4rm.com. Our theme music was created by Gaurav Venkateswar. You can find his work at gvtunes.com. And what else? I don't have it in front of me. Oh. Nope, that wasn't it. Manscaped. Yes, thank you. Please go check out our friends at Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code BATSCAPE. But that'll do it. On behalf of Kathrynn and myself, Andy, this has been Holy BatCast. We'll see you next time. Same Shaz time, same Shaz channel.
Shazam.
Yeah, Shazam.
Shazam.
Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for.
Not to be confused with Kazam.
Yes, that was completely different. I think David Sandberg made a joke about Kazam doing a cameo in the first movie or something.
I would have loved that.
Which would be hilarious, but nobody's actually a genie in Shazam, so. But it does sound similar.
It does.
Wait, no, that's right. Isn't that the weird? What's it called? The Mandela effect of a Shazam movie with Sinbad.
Yeah. But I think that is what Kazam wasn't it?
Kazam was with Shaq. Right.
But there is maybe it's just.
There's not.
No?
That's the whole thing. There was no Sinbad genie movie ever.
Weird.
But people swear there was. But I'm from the Alpha timeline because I know there's no Sinbad genie movie.
Weird.
The more you know.
Huh.
But neither of them are in the Shazam movies.
Right.